A cold night covers the quiet streets of St. John's. The city sleeps, but danger moves in silence. A shadow slips through the darkness, leaving behind only the echo of footsteps. And a single word written on the wall, "Bree." The next morning, Detective Charlie Hudson and his loyal partner, Rex, arrive at a crime scene that will test not only their instincts but their trust in everything they thought they knew. The story begins on a foggy morning by the harbor. The water is still, but something feels wrong, too quiet, too calm. The police radios hum softly as officers move around a modern glass office building, now surrounded by yellow tape. Inside, the successful tech entrepreneur named Ethan Cole lies lifeless on the floor of his office. His computer screen glows faintly with unfinished code. And on the glass wall behind him, written in red marker, are the letters "RE." No one knows what it means, but everyone feels the weight of it. Detective Hudson steps into the room, his eyes sharp and focused. He doesn't say much. He never needs to. Rex walks beside him, nose twitching, scanning the air for scents that could tell the story no one else can see. The bond between man and dog is silent, but powerful. Hudson kneels by the body, his mind already racing through possibilities. There are no signs of forced entry, no broken locks, no missing valuables. Whoever did this didn't come to steal. They came to send a message. The team begins their work methodically. Sarah Trong, the forensics expert, takes photos of the scene, collecting fingerprints and samples. Her calm, precise movements contrast with the tension in the air. Jesse Mills, the tech analyst, starts examining Ethan's computer, looking for clues in the lines of unfinished code. Superintendent Donovan watches over them, aware that the media will soon start asking questions. This isn't just another case. This is something that could shake the city's tech community and put pressure on the SRU team to deliver answers fast. Hudson moves closer to the window, where the word "RE" stares back at him. He studies it, his reflection mixing with the letters. He thinks back to an old case years ago that ended with a similar mark. Could it be the same person? Or is someone trying to copy a crime that was never truly solved? Rex growls softly, breaking Hudson's thoughts. The dog's instincts are rarely wrong. Something or someone nearby carries the scent of deceit. Outside the building, reporters gather like vultures. The city is curious, hungry for details, desperate for explanations. Rumors spread fast: a business rivalry, a jealous ex, a hacker gone rogue. But none of these fit. Hudson knows better than to jump to conclusions. He has seen how the truth can hide behind appearances, how a small detail can change everything. As the first day of investigation unfolds, the team finds traces of encrypted data on Ethan's system, files that someone tried to delete just hours before his death. A hidden drive, a coded message, and a timestamp that doesn't match Ethan's schedule. Someone was in that office after hours, and they were smart enough to cover their tracks, but not smart enough to escape Rex's nose. Hudson takes a deep breath and looks at his partner. "Find him, boy," he whispers. Rex starts to move, sniffing the trail that leads out of the building and into the damp streets beyond. The chase begins. What the team doesn't yet know is that this isn't just about a single murder. It's part of a chain, a pattern that will reveal a much darker truth. The letters "RE" are not random. They are a calling card, a sign of something or someone returning. As the camera fades to the city skyline, the tension grows. The hunt has started, and every second counts. Somewhere out there, the real criminal watches them, waiting for the perfect moment to strike again. The trail leads Hudson and Rex through the twisting streets of St. John's. The morning fog still hangs low, blurring the edges of the city and swallowing the sounds of traffic. Rex keeps his nose close to the ground, his focus unbroken. Hudson walks beside him, his mind replaying the image of those two red letters "RE." He has seen them before, long ago, carved into the case file of a man who was never caught. Back then, it ended in failure. A cold case. A ghost story whispered in the SRU's halls. But now, that ghost seems to have come back to life. They follow the scent to an abandoned printing warehouse by the docks, a place left to rot after the company shut down years ago. The air inside is heavy with dust and salt. Old posters cling to the walls, their colors faded, their words unreadable. Hudson moves carefully, flashlight sweeping across broken furniture and scattered papers. Rex leads him deeper, past fallen beams and old machinery, until they find a small office in the back, and on the desk, a fresh cup of coffee. Still warm that someone was just here, Hudson freezes for a moment, listening. There's a faint sound, a door creaking, then silence. He signals Rex to stay alert. They move slowly toward the noise, but the intruder is gone. All that's left is a laptop, its screen cracked but still flickering with life. Hudson calls Jesse to run a remote trace. Within minutes, Jesse confirms that the laptop was used to access Ethan Cole's server only hours before the murder. Whoever was here knew Ethan and had been tracking his every move. Back at headquarters, the atmosphere is tense. The team gathers around the evidence board, photos and notes spread out like pieces of a puzzle that refuse to fit. Sarah analyzes a partial fingerprint found on Ethan's office desk. It's smudged, incomplete, but enough to give a clue. The print matches someone connected to a case from 5 years ago, Raymond Ellis, a data thief who disappeared before trial. His last known alias. Ari Hudson leans back in his chair, connecting the dots in his head. Criminal Re, he murmurs. It's not just a message. It's a name. The realization hits the team hard. Raymond Ellis was believed to be dead, a boat accident, no survivors. But if he's alive, this case just became personal. Ellis had once hacked the SRU's database, nearly destroying years of work, and Hudson was the one who led the investigation against him. Now, it seems Ellis wants revenge. Meanwhile, Rex can't sit still. He senses something Hudson can't yet see. The dog moves toward the evidence board, sniffing at a photo of the crime scene. His attention locks on the red marker used to write Re. Hudson looks closer. The ink isn't ordinary. Sarah tests it and finds traces of a rare chemical used only in industrial tagging paint, the kind used at shipyards. That detail changes everything. The killer isn't hiding far, he's somewhere near the docks. Night falls as Hudson and Rex return to the waterfront. The streets are quiet again, lit only by the dim glow of street lamps reflecting on wet pavement. They find a shipping container with the same paint marks on its side, faint red letters, half washed by rain. Hudson opens it carefully. Inside are boxes of stolen electronics, fake IDs, and files with police insignia. Whoever owns this operation isn't just a killer. He's been watching them, studying their every move. Hudson steps out of the container, his jaw tight. He's playing a game, he says under his breath. And he's always one step ahead, but Rex isn't ready to give up. He pulls Hudson toward a narrow alley behind the dock office. There, hidden behind trash bins, is a small recording device blinking with a red light. Hudson picks it up and presses play. The voice that comes through the speaker is distorted, but the message is clear. You thought you buried me, detective, but I never left. It's time to finish what we started. Hudson stares into the distance, the wind cutting through the silence. The voice is Ellis's older, angrier, and still filled with the same cunning confidence that made him so dangerous. The chase is no longer about solving a murder. It's about survival. The next morning, the team meets in the briefing room. Hudson lays out the recording, the photos, and the data traces. Each clue points towards something bigger, a series of crimes staged to lead them to Ellis. Sarah discovers that Ethan's tech company had been developing a digital security system for law enforcement, a system that could have exposed Ellis's entire network. That's why Ethan died. He knew too much. Hudson looks at the board one more time. He's not just back for revenge, he says quietly. He's rebuilding his empire. And we're standing in his way. Rex lets out a low growl, as if he understands. The team exchanges tense looks. There's no turning back now. The storm that started with a single word, Re, is about to unleash its full force. The hunt for Raymond Ellis has begun again. But this time, Hudson won't fail. Not with Rex by his side. The morning breaks cold and gray over St. John's, The sea wind howls against the windows of SRU headquarters as Hudson stares at the evidence board, his eyes tracing the red lines connecting names, photos, and maps. Every path seems to circle back to the same point, the docks. The scent of salt lingers in the air, and something about it feels like deja vu. Rex sits quietly at his feet, alert but calm, his golden eyes fixed on Hudson. The detective knows they're being watched. Ellis isn't just hiding, he's guiding them, turning the investigation into a maze. Sarah's voice breaks the silence. She's found something in the audio recording, faint background noises, barely noticeable at first. But after filtering them through sound software, a pattern emerges. The call wasn't made from the city. It came from a moving source, a boat, not far from the marina where Ellis was last seen 5 years ago. Hudson grabs his coat and heads out with Rex. The fog has rolled in again, wrapping the harbor in a heavy white blanket. The faint sound of seagulls echoes over the water. Every step feels cautious, calculated. The SRU backup team stays a few blocks behind, following Hudson's lead. The docks stretch before him like a graveyard of forgotten ships. Rusted metal creaks under the weight of the tide. Rex sniffs the air, tail stiff he's picked up something. They move toward a fishing vessel named Red Ember. Its paint is peeling, its windows cracked, but a faint light flickers inside the cabin. Hudson's instincts flare. He knows better than to rush in. He signals Rex to stay close, draws his gun, and slowly climbs aboard. The deck is slick with seawater. A radio hums quietly, static breaking through the silence. Hudson steps into the cabin, empty. Only a single object sits on the table. A photo that is a picture of Hudson and Rex, taken years ago during their first big case. On the back, a message is scrawled in red ink, still chasing ghosts. Hudson feels his pulse quicken. He turns toward the sound of footsteps behind him, too late. A loud crash echoes as a heavy metal door slams shut, trapping him inside. The air fills with smoke, and the faint hiss of gas follows. Rex barks wildly, pawing at the door. Hudson drops low, pulling off his jacket to cover his mouth. He spots a vent near the floor, small enough for Rex to crawl through. "Go," he commands. Rex hesitates for a second, then disappears into the vent, his sharp barks echoing as he runs for help. Minutes pass like hours. Hudson's vision starts to blur, the gas thickening around him. He fights to stay awake, his hand gripping the edge of the table to keep his balance. Just as he begins to fade, the door bursts open. Rex leaps in, followed by Donovan and the tactical team. They drag Hudson out, coughing and dizzy but alive. The trap failed, barely. But the message is clear. Ellis knows every move they make. Later, back at headquarters, Sarah pulls new data from the laptop recovered at the warehouse. Hidden deep in the code is a list of names, tech engineers, police contacts, and security firms, all tied to one project, Recode. It's a massive hacking system capable of breaking through any government firewall. Ellis isn't just back for revenge. He's building a digital weapon. Hudson listens in silence, the weight of it pressing down on him. "He's using us," he finally says. "Every step we take, he's recording. Every clue, every move, every word part of his plan." Jesse confirms the theory. Ellis's network has been tracking through activity in real time. The team has been inside a trap since day one. That night, Hudson sits alone in his office. The city lights shimmer through the blinds, casting stripes of gold across the floor. He looks at Rex, lying near his desk, resting but alert. Hudson reaches down, rubbing the dog's neck. "He's turning the city into a chessboard," he murmurs. But he forgot one thing: you can't outsmart instinct. A new alert pings on Jesse's monitor. One of the stolen servers from the Red Ember just went live again, transmitting from a remote part of the city, an old telecommunications building outside town. Hudson stands, eyes sharp again. "That's where he is," he says. The team gears up, but something in Hudson's gut feels wrong. Ellis has predicted their every move. Why would he make it so easy to find him now? Still, there's no choice. They move out. The night is darker than usual. heavy clouds blotting out the moon. The building looms in the distance, surrounded by silence. Inside, the floors are covered with dust, the air thick with the smell of old wires and oil. Sarah locates a server room humming faintly, rows of machines blinking in eerie red light. On the screens, live footage appears. Every member of the SRU team, each one tracked by a camera feed. Then a message flashes across all monitors. Round 2 begins now. The power cuts out. The screens go black. The sound of footsteps echoes through the hall. Rex growls, ready to strike. Hudson's heart pounds. They've walked straight into another game. The chase has reached a new level, one where every decision could mean life or death. And somewhere in the shadows, Raymond Ellis watches, smiling in the dark. The storm had rolled in from the sea, swallowing the city in sheets of rain and lightning. The wind howled through the empty streets, carrying the faint echo of sirens that faded into the distance. Inside the abandoned telecommunications building, time seemed to slow. The air smelled of damp concrete and burnt wires. Every flicker of light, every creak of metal felt alive, as if the place itself was holding its breath. Hudson stood in the darkness, gun drawn, the beam of his flashlight slicing through the shadows. Beside him, Rex moved with silent precision, his muscles tense, his ears alert to every sound. Somewhere in this maze of corridors, Raymond Ellis was waiting, not hiding, not running, but waiting. This wasn't a chase anymore. It was an invitation. A low hum vibrated through the walls as the emergency lights flickered on, casting the hallway in a deep red glow. Screens along the walls blinked to life, one after another, each showing footage of Hudson and his team, moments from earlier cases, private conversations, even footage from inside SRU headquarters. Ellis had been watching them for months, maybe longer. His voice crackled through the speakers, cold and mocking. You've always been predictable, detective. Always chasing, never seeing. Hudson kept moving, refusing to respond. He knew Ellis wanted to control the pace, to turn this hunt into a performance. But Hudson had learned something Ellis hadn't accounted for: patience. Rex stopped suddenly near a broken elevator door, sniffing the air. His ears perked up, and a low growl rumbled in his throat. Hudson followed his lead and noticed a faint trail of footprints in the dust, heavy boots leading downward. The basement. They descended the stairs cautiously, the sound of dripping water echoing off the walls. In the center of the basement sat a table, lit by a single overhead bulb. On it, another laptop glowed with a video feed. Hudson approached slowly, and the screen shifted from static to Ellis's face, older now, scarred, but with the same sharp, calculating eyes. You took everything from me, Ellis said, his tone eerily calm. My freedom, my name. You thought you could erase me, but you only rewrote me. Hudson's jaw tightened. You killed an innocent man, he replied. You made your choices, Ellis smirked faintly. And so did you. The difference is mine made me a ghost. Yours made you blind. Before Hudson could respond, the feed cut to black. Then, a loud click, the sound of locks engaging. Steel shutters dropped from the ceiling, trapping them inside. Alarms wailed as screens around the room lit up again, each displaying a timer counting down from 3 minutes. Rex barked sharply, pulling at Hudson's sleeve, leading him toward a corner of the room. Beneath a pile of debris, Hudson spotted a power junction. If they could cut the circuit, the system might shut down. Hudson worked quickly, wire sparking under his hands. Rex barked again, louder this time, warning him. From the shadows behind, a figure stepped out, slow and deliberate. Ellis, dressed in black, rain-soaked and calm as ever. He carried no gun, just a small device in his hand, a remote trigger. I didn't want it to end like this, Ellis said softly. But maybe it never ends. Maybe we just keep repeating the same mistakes over and over. Reborn, rewritten, rebuilt. Hudson kept his eyes locked on him. You're not rewriting anything. This ends tonight. Rex moved into a defensive stance, teeth bared, growl deepening. The timer flashed 0:45. Ellis pressed a button, and part of the ceiling collapsed behind them, blocking the exit. Hudson dove aside, grabbing Rex and rolling behind a steel beam. Dust filled the air. The building groaned under the pressure of the blast. Through the haze, Alice's voice echoed again, half laughter, half rage. You can't stop what's already begun. But Hudson was already moving. He tackled Alice, the two crashing into a table. The remote slid across the floor. Rex leapt forward, grabbing it in his mouth and darting away. Alice swung wildly, landing a hit that sent Hudson sprawling. For a moment, everything went silent except the ticking of the timer. 0:12, 0:11, 0:10. Hudson lunged forward, driving Alice against the wall. You wanted to rewrite the story. He shouted, "Here's the ending." With a single motion, he slammed Alice into the power junction. Sparks erupted, and the countdown froze at 0:02. The entire room plunged into darkness. The hum of machines died. The red lights flickered out. Silence. Then, Rex's bark, short, urgent, alive. Hudson groaned, pushing himself up. Alice lay unconscious on the floor. The remote now shattered nearby. The storm outside roared louder as the team finally broke through the doors. Sarah and Donovan rushed in, flashlights cutting through the smoke. Hudson exhaled slowly, his gaze turning to Rex, whose fur was covered in dust but whose eyes still burned bright. Outside, as dawn broke over the harbor, the rain began to ease. Alice was taken away in handcuffs, silent, expressionless, his empire of code and chaos finally undone. Hudson watched as the van disappeared into the fog. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then he looked down at Rex, a faint smile breaking through the exhaustion. "Good work, partner," he whispered. The city slowly came back to life, police lights fading, streets clearing, the air fresh again after the storm. But the word still lingered in Hudson's mind. It no longer stood for revenge or rage. It stood for renewal, a reminder that even in the darkest cases, there's always a chance to start again. As the camera pulls back to the skyline of St. Joe,